So, as I said, my name is Lisa Sullivan. I'm a lecturer here at UC Davis in the teacher education program and in the undergraduate program. And I'm the principal investigator on the STENT grant, which is funded by CTERIN. And I'm going to tell you a bit more about CTERIN and the work that's being done by the overarching grant in just a moment. But welcome, and thank you for being here. So last year, this is the second annual conference. Last year, the conference was for University of California teacher education programs. This year, we opened it up to statewide supervisors and teacher educators from across the state. So it's really exciting. We have about 150 people who've registered. So it's a great, exciting space to collaborate together and share ideas. So we really want to create an open space for you to learn from each other, question, share. Each of the presentations will be moderated, so there'll be somebody kind of fielding questions, but almost all of the presentations are by supervisors or at least teacher educators working in the field. So as I mentioned, this is part of a grant through CTERIN, which is a grant that is funded by the University of California Office of the President. CTERIN stands for California Teacher Education Research and Improvement Network. And there are a variety of different grants, but this grant is really focused on supervision in teacher education. And here the grant has been funded for the past 4 years. And some of the activities we've done focus group with supervisors and student teachers to learn more about how they work together. We surveyed supervisors, and the kind of impetus for the work was this new requirement that we can collect data on student teacher growth and progress over time. So a lot of our questions and conversations with supervisors and student teachers were about what is most meaningful to you when you get feedback from a supervisor. And it was clear that the conversation and dialogue between supervisors and student teachers was the most meaningful and provided those opportunities for reflective conversations that really, pushed student teachers to think more deeply about their practice. And it was also clear from our focus groups and surveys with supervisors that there was this real desire and need to collaborate, dedicate more time to conversation about the work that supervisors are doing. So that inspired us to have the year one conference and now this conference as well. So what we found after year one is that supervisors were, in fact, adopting some new practices that were shared at the conference. And probably more importantly, there were some real shifts in thinking about the work that they were doing and this real commitment to addressing inequities and racism in their practice or in their work with student teachers. So just a few takeaways. There are additional resources about the grant and some of our findings posted on the CTERIN website. So I'll share that link in a little bit, but I wanted to share with you who's here, who are the folks attending the conference. So as you can see, the majority are supervisors and lecturers, or just supervisors who may not be teaching in the program, but supervising. But we have everything from supervisor lecture to troublemakers. So someone very wisely identified themselves as a troublemaker, which a good troublemaker, hopefully we're all that. And then I'm excited to say that we have over 32 different institutions here today. So we have a large contingent from LMU. I know it's super exciting. So just thrilled to see the participation and this statewide representation here today. So on the registration, we asked about, what are you thinking about? What's on your mind for this coming year? So I just created a little word cloud. Here are some of the most common things that came up, things that you're thinking about, priorities for you. So I'm happy to say that a lot of the presentations over the next 2 days are going to be addressing these very issues. So all right, so a couple of other comments that came up. We have some brand new supervisors here who will be attending, so welcome. That's exciting. We are all here to learn from one another, but we're excited to have you here. And then the big goal, the message that I want to share is that we're really all here to connect and learn from each other and think about equity and social justice and how we can support our candidates in that work. So, I think we all probably have this sense of urgency about interrupting the inequities that we see and that COVID certainly brought to light, as well as the racial reckoning that's happening. So this idea that you as supervisors are playing this really pivotal role in guiding new teachers and helping them engage in those critical conversations that are so important. The other thing I just want to say is that it's been so clear through this work how committed supervisors are to our K-12 students and also to the student teachers that you're working with and education overall. So I'm about to wrap up and turn things over to our keynote, but I did want to mention that there is an opportunity for these small group workshops that are going to happen in late summer, early fall. So far, 24 people have signed up for those. There's a link for that at the end of the registration form, but I'll be in touch soon about what that's going to look like. But the idea is that we're working to get some additional funding for the conferences and these gatherings, and we want to collect some additional data on how this type of professional learning space is impacting your work. So happy that we have a group of people who want to be involved. All right, so moving on to what today is going to look like. First up, we have a keynote speaker, Nora Wynn. Very excited about that. Then we have 2 sets of morning sessions, one at 10, one at 11. Then we have a lunch break, and then we have 1 set of afternoon sessions at 12:30. At 1:30, there's a series of debrief meetings. So I have an open session, and this is just a space for people to come together at the end of the day to kind of talk through what you heard, what you're thinking about, what types of resources did you hear about that you maybe want to use, what additional questions do you have, that sort of thing. So I think it's nice to have that space to process. And also, I would really appreciate you completing the day 1 evaluation. So that's at the end of the day 1 program. We are planning to have breaks between sessions, hopefully 5 to 10 minutes. So we're hoping to end the sessions about a little bit before the hour so you can stretch. It's a lot where I know Zoom, being on Zoom for that length of time can be tiring. So take a break, get some more coffee, get water, whatever you need. And as I mentioned, all sessions will be recorded, and I'll share a link with those recordings with you. A few logistics. So if there are any technical issues, maybe one person in a session could text me and I will set up a new link. So if one of the links for some reason doesn't work, I left my Zoom open so I can set up a new Zoom if necessary. And the moderator and presenter will let you know how they want you to interact during the session, whether they're open to asking questions along the way or at the end. And then, as I mentioned, if you notice a session isn't being recorded, feel free to remind the moderator that the session should be recorded. All right, and finally, I just want to thank our team. Obviously, this is a big collaborative effort. So the STENT team is folks from these various UC campuses, and then my colleague, Heather Ballinger, I'm going to turn things over to in a moment at Humboldt State, but also thank you to the CTERIN leadership team and especially Tina Sloan, who's been very supportive of this work. Thank you to all the presenters and moderators, and thank you to all of you for being here. Really, really appreciate your participation. So